Let's dive deeply, if you will, into our children and what's going on in their lives. And to do that, we have the Chief Judge for the Augusta Judicial Circuit. We're talking Augusta, Burke County, McDuffie County.
No,
Judge.
Let it be Burke County, Richmond County, and Columbia County.
Richmond, Burke, Columbia.
Columbia Juvenile Court. That's correct.
That is the Augusta Judicial Circuit. Got it. Judge Doug Flanagan. See, Judge Flanagan has been on here so many times. He is truly my co-host, and so I just want you to view him as that. But no, I appreciate that, and I appreciate all you do, Judge Flanagan. Joining him is his longtime right-hand woman, Margaret Adams. Margaret, in your past life, you were the chief probation officer and manager with Judge Flanagan. You tried to retire. What happened?
He brought me back.
You couldn't
I think
stand
he
it.
gave me about a month off, and then he said, "We need you, come on back." And so I'm now the program director at Juvenile Court, and Judge Flanagan and I spent a lot of time in the school system talking to the kids. Actually, we're trying to make ourselves jobless.
What?
We spent a lot of time in the school system giving the kids tips on how not to meet Judge Flanagan because they've broken a law.
Well, I want to talk to you about your work in our schools for sure, and it's important. And thank you for agreeing to come out of retirement, Ms. Adams. We appreciate that. How is business, Judge Flanagan? Are you getting closer to not having kids come through that court?
Well, we're doing very well and not getting a big increase. You know, especially in Columbia County where the population continues to increase. The number of cases has not been increasing percentage-wise with the increase in the population. So with Ms. Adams and I and our probation officers visiting every school, elementary, middle schools, and high schools, talking about choices and consequences and how to avoid problems in their life and how to take care of problems and who to talk to.
What are the top offenses that you see our kids committing?
A lot of it is bullying. A lot of it is electronic bullying. A lot of it is improper touching, what some people would call sexual battery. And it's the type of things that with good parenting and a lot of the children knowing the rules can be avoided.
Let's talk about that electronic bullying first of all. When you go into the schools, I'm sure that this is something you touch on with the kids. Now, they're not, for the most part, allowed to use their phones or look at their phones in school unless it's for a lesson. Where do you see a lot of this electronic bullying taking place?
Well, I'm always amazed, I guess, at the number of kids that actually have telephones.
And at a young age.
At a very, very young age. Normally, Judge Flanagan and I speak to the kids grade levels 4 and up. And anywhere the population is between 85 to 95% of the kids from the elementary school all up through high school, they have their own, what they call their own cell phone. And so which means that now you have very immature young people with all kinds of stuff right there in their hands. And we've discovered that young people get in trouble because they really do not give any consideration to the consequences of the choices that they make.
Do you have any authority as a judge to take their phones away?
Sure.
Really? Tell me how that works.
Well, you know, we get them to come into court if they have some issues and involve the phone. Part of the punishment we can get is we can take their driver's license away. If they're driving, we can take their freedom away. You know, we have the ability, if they're real bad, to actually put them in some kind of confinement at the YDC. But take their cell phones away, yes. We can take their cell phones away. When we talk at the schools, the first thing we tell these children and young adults, we ask them to raise your hand how many people have their own cell phone. It's usually about 80%.
Not bad.
And then we tell them that's good news. The bad news is not your cell phone. It's your parent's cell phone.
Yeah, they don't get that.
You don't own it. The parent pays for it. It's your parent's cell phone. We have actually people come in that have gotten in physical altercations with their parents when their parents have tried to take their phone.
Let's stay on this for a while, and if it takes the whole broadcast, so be it, because I think this is what we're all struggling with, the use of cell phones and the use of social media, which we'll get into in just a minute. But why do you think kids are so fearless when it comes to using their phones for whatever means, whether it's bullying, like Judge Flanagan mentioned, or whether it's sexting, or for some other improper means? Do they think they're anonymous? Do they think they're hiding behind the phone?
I really think they do, and the fact is it's not a face-to-face. So you can hide behind the phone, say what you want to say, and send all kinds of pictures and thinking that you're not going to get caught. They don't understand, because of their immaturity, that just because you delete something, it does not fade away. It's there, and with the proper mechanism, you can pull up anything that you've already tried to delete.
Yeah, you make a very interesting point, and I've tried to preach this at home, Judge. Is an image or is a text ever deleted?
It's out there and
It's
people
out there
can get
somewhere.
it. And I tell
Yeah.
some of these young adults, you know, they see their phone as freedom. Just like you would if you're a teenager learning to drive. You can drive away from the house and do stuff that your parents might not be able to see if you have a set of wheels and a driver license. At a younger age, they see their cell phone as freedom. They can look up stuff they want on the internet. They can text each other. They can take X-rated pictures. They can sex test. And a lot of times they don't think that anybody will ever know. They think it's anonymous. As adults, we know it's not anonymous.
How does that stuff come to light? Do you get a forensics team to take the phone apart and say, see, I told you the image was here?
Well, the sheriff's department in all the counties are capable of basically getting into most phones. And I've seen a lot of pictures, and I tell some of them with the pictures I see, if you can't show the picture on your phone to your grandmother, you probably don't need to take it.
When does it become a crime? If your child receives a naked picture from a friend, when for your child, I understand that the guy who sent it is in trouble. Mm-hmm. When does it become a crime for the recipient?
Well, the recipient, it's not a crime if they were to delete it, but if they try to send it on and try to show it to everybody, we have a lot of young ladies send pictures to their boyfriends when they're inappropriately dressed.
Yep.
And of course, they're boys. First thing they're going to do with the picture is when they're at school, show it to all their friends and say, hey, look at my girlfriend. Doesn't she look good? They think they're being proud of their girlfriend. They don't understand that the young lady has entrusted with them something personal when she sent that picture to her boyfriend. Even though it's inappropriate, she thinks he's not going to show it to anybody.
Is this difficult to keep up with going back to the beginning of your career? And I'm not saying you've been doing this, for 100 years, Margaret.
Pretty close.
You've been, I'm trying to say you are a seasoned veteran and you have seen a lot. Can you even keep up with the stuff that Judge Flanagan was describing? It seems like the kids are one step ahead.
Well, I think that we can, and I can personally keep up with it because I'm a mother. I have a 40-plus-year-old son. Mm-hmm. And as a mother raising a child, I always tried to keep myself at least 6 months ahead of him, so when he would act a certain way, I wasn't surprised, because this is par for the course. This is par for young people growing up. They want to explore. They think they know everything, and the parents know nothing. So here you are talking to the woman who brought you to the world. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I know more than you, and I'm going to demonstrate in how I'm rearing you that I am the mother and that I am in charge. And that's what you have to do as a parent. You have to put forth all effort to try to be a few steps ahead of your kids in this game.
All right, kids hate to be preached to. They hate to be lectured. So how do we get the message across that your phone can be dangerous, your phone can get you locked up?
Well, it can get you locked up, but it can also be an asset to the parents.
Right.
The parents can put the device on it, the app, where they can track where their children are.
You like that?
Yes, I think it helps the parents.
We're spying on them, though. That's wrong.
Well, we're not spying on them because they're not physically present, but we happen to know where they are. Every good parent wants to know where their child is, especially if they're telling their parents they're going to the movie and that's not where they're going. Mm-hmm. The phone can also help when you have children that have to come home and their parents aren't there. To take a picture of a selfie in the house, letting know Mom and Dad, I'm home and I'm safe, I've locked the door, I'm home. A parent at work can be reassured by getting a photograph that their child's gotten off the bus, coming in the house, and they're in the house safe.
Judge Flanagan, what happens to a child who doesn't listen, who continues to receive and disseminate images, who uses their phone for bullying? What happens to the child? Well,
the child can get punished because the worst punishment can be at home. Good parents should have the password and code to their children's phone. It's their phone. Mm. They should be able to access their children's phone, whether it's sitting around eating dinner at the kitchen table, when you finish saying to your child, hey, let me see what you've been doing on your phone today.
You recommend that?
Oh, definitely.
Doesn't that break the trust?
Why would it break the trust? Who's in charge of the home?
The parent.
Who's paying for the phone?
I mean, the child.
Yeah, wow, no.
No, the parent.
The parent's in charge. It's no different than when you and I grew up. If we had stuff in our room that we weren't supposed to have, your mother, father could come in and look through your room.
So you think you can still maintain a healthy relationship with your child?
Yes. Well, you have to let them know what you're doing. Don't sneak up on them. Just say to them, they get used to saying, you know, when you're going to have a phone and mom and dad are going to get you a phone, you have to understand that mom and dad are going to want to see what you're doing on the phone.
Have you ever sent a child to jail, to juvie, because of an electronic-related issue?
Yes.
What kind of offense are we talking
about?
about?
Well, usually it's inappropriate pictures with people with no clothes on. Now, you can rise to the level of a terroristic threat to an act, depending. We did have somebody who used someone else's phone at the school to call in a bomb threat, and then hung up the phone. The only trouble is he was calling from the school cafeteria. The police department's pretty sharp. They found out the call was made from inside the school. They know what the phone number was. They came to the school, and what happened is this student had borrowed another student's phone saying, I'd like to use your phone to make a phone call for a second.
When the Means Report continues, we're going to continue to talk to these two fine folks about their efforts in our school systems to reach your children before they get in trouble, to try to keep them on the right path. We're also going to talk about what kind of progress we're making overall with our youth, and more advice really for moms and dads and caregivers at home, so that we can certainly do our part, not leave it all up to the juvenile court system, when the Means Report continues.